Hello, everybody. Time to get hyped. It's finals night. Neil, welcome, man. It's what is tonight? Is it Tuesday night? Yeah. The short week's got me all messed up.
Tuesday, November 23rd.
It's Tuesday, November 23rd, and we have Shufflebus Season 5 finals tonight.
Yeah,
those are
last Shufflebus match of the year, actually.
It is. It's kind of sad. I mean, I do have a little bit of a surprise in store for us. It's not actually going to be the last Shufflebus match of the year. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though. So we've got kind of a sweet announcement that's coming up here in just a little bit, but there's some really cool stuff happening in the community. And
Chat, he surprises me with this stuff. The same time he surprises you,
because I want your reaction to it. And if you were paying attention to your private messages in Slack or Discord, you would know what was going on tonight. But
my private messages in Discord? What are you talking about?
Yeah. You're on a group chat there's been a discussion going on.
Fighting Walloon. God, there's so many messages.
Fighting Walloon coming in with a sub.
Jesus.
Thank you for that 6-month sub, Fighting, man. Jeez, we don't deserve that, but I appreciate it so much.
Sorry, Fighting. I'll talk about your sub in a second. I'm flabbergasted by this 50 plus, but I turned the notifications off that night because you guys were like pinging. This was like weeks ago. I turned notifications off this chat because you guys were pinging at like 1 a.m, and I wanted to sleep. And then I guess I didn't turn it off right.
I turn off all my notifications, so it doesn't actually notify. I just make it a habit to check periodically. Apparently, you don't have that habit instilled yet.
Well, normally it gives me the little like red number,
right?
That says like you have new messages on red. This one doesn't. I must have turned it off wrong. So, I'll read that book later.
So you're good. You're going to get caught up on it all here. Yeah, you're going to find out about it in a little bit. But Cam is asking in chat, will Philly be able to stop the odd season snake sacrifice and become the undefeated champion? Don't make me vote. No votes tonight, guys. No votes. We're I put the votes up. We tried that out for a little while on the stream, and we just didn't get enough participation from the viewership to really make it work. And it usually just ended up being kind of awkward.
Watching, maybe we'll try it again. But
we'll try to bring it back when we start to get into some real big watch numbers, and by big I mean like 20 plus on average, kind of thing. So, Fighting says looking for some exciting action with new and unfamiliar decks. These are
both these decks have some new cards in them, but are very reminiscent of decks we've seen many times.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are definitely, we've seen these two decks be competitively viable many times throughout the season. Warrior Poet 84 Inquisitor saying, for the record, I think this is a snake season. Inquisitor, we'll talk a little bit. We'll break down the decks here. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes before the actual match starts, so we've got a ton of stuff to go over here. Obviously, if you didn't see the lead-in graphic, the invitational is set for January 8th, so if you've been invited, know that is your date there to Destiny to become the first Ashes and Shufflebus world champion. But otherwise, we're going to talk a little bit more about some stuff coming up here in December, and that will bleed into the new year for those folks that are interested in it. And then we're going to discuss and give away a bunch of stuff tonight. I'm pretty excited about the giveaways. Who's excited for giveaways tonight? I mean, come on, man. I
can't get anything.
You are the worst hype man ever. Like, Neil is the worst hype man in the business. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I thought that's what you're here for. I'm a pessimist.
Oh, man, we're in trouble then. Because my wife tells me I'm the most pragmatic individual she knows. So funny. I'm excited for us to wrap up season 5, and we're going to go into detail on both of these decks because we've got time to do it, and talk a little bit about them and our thoughts as they before they kick off here. We'll talk about some potential first fives that we think both decks will have, kind of off the cuff here, and just basically kind of prep everybody for the match to get started here. But let's should we just kick the show off with a giveaway? Should we do that right away?
Do you think we have critical mass of viewership?
I don't know. Probably not yet. But it's not a must be present to win sort of thing, since they're Shufflebus competitors. So if they're not in the chat, not the end of the world. But we can do a small giveaway. Fighting says yes. Fighting wants it. Fighting wants a giveaway here. Should we give away?
Give him something small, just like. We'll keep him on the hook. Should
we do the Rin alt art right out of the gate? What's up, Shadowfire? Welcome, man. Should we do the Rin alt art out of the gate?
Yeah.
All right, I'm down. Let's do the Rin alt art. So,
I don't even know what it looks like. Does it look cool?
You can look on your screen. I don't have any other way to share this with you right now.
It's given the Hadouken.
Yeah. It's the same thing that's on the playmat. The same pose that's on the playmat. So we're gonna give away the Rin alt art. So let's let me change our scene here a little bit. So I got this fancy name picker. How cool is this?
Oh my gosh.
We had 146 entries after all the raffles. Only to your loyal viewers currently on the stream. D Gold Jennifer says, must be present to win now. We're going to give it to any Shufflebus. So I don't have a drum roll sound machine. I wish I did. That would be awesome right now. But, I'm not that cool. So let's go ahead and pick a name here. And we get Doctar. Adam, Doctar, you are the proud recipient of a Rin alt art. So if Adam is here tonight, congratulations. If not, I will reach out to you on Discord and let you know that you have won the Rin Alt Art. Congratulations to Doctar. The good news is Doctar's name is now out of the list, so he can't win anything else. So that's it. All right, so let me make a note here on my sheet. I'll be curious to see how many people who have participated on one of the streams with their extra entries got something. That's the one I'll be.
Did we see Doctor this season?
We did. Yep. Neil, Fighting's giving you so much crap right now. I love it. Thank you, Fighting. Thank you.
Doctor is someone who actually deserves it. He does so much.
He does. And actually, if for those of you who don't know, Doctor is the one that handles all of our strength of schedule standings and handles the blood points calculations to help me with. And that's a huge help. Him keeping that sheet up is a big help to us. So absolutely.
I will gladly hype him up, for doing work for us. But
absolutely. No. All right. So that was our first giveaway. We've got many more of those to come. Neil, let's why don't we take a little turn into talking about the decks for tonight here?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got about an hour and 15 minutes in total, and obviously we can talk about matchups that each player came through this season to get here. Do you want to start with Kaya's or do you want to start with Philly's deck? Which one would you prefer?
Well, so here's the thing is that looking at Kaile's tournament is going to give us a better view of what's going to happen in this match than looking at Philly's, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because did they play in the Swiss?
I don't think they did. So
because if they didn't play in the Swiss, then we don't have a match that Philly played to compare this to, really.
Right? So Kaya and Frisbee played round 1. Kaya played Squircle in round 2, and then Kaya played Bill in round 3, and Bill got the win there. That was our top 4 there. We talked about that, and then Kaya played Carl and got the win against the Creepers in round 4. Kaya played Matt in his 4-book Aradel, which is the old Philly 4-book, and got the win. Matt
Greenleaf, you mean?
Yeah, Matt Greenleaf. Yeah. Yep. And then we had Kaya playing Zizaros and Xander, who was also another top 8 finalist. Right. Kaya did play Bill, and Bill played Philly, and obviously Philly beat Bill, but Bill beat Kaya. So, but that
doesn't mean anything.
This could be a rock paper scissors kind of thing here too. So
the thing we want to look at is the other 4-book decks versus the Snake deck, which you said Bill won.
Mm-hmm.
So his wasn't exactly a 4-book, and he didn't play Guilt Link, right? So it definitely wasn't a 4-book.
Right.
I think that the Bill deck has an advantage against the Snake over Philly's deck because of Phoenix Barrage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be hard, right? So what the Xander deck is another battlefield-oriented swing deck that we saw the Maeoni beat, right?
Right. So I think I mean, obviously when we look at this Maeoni deck, there are 11 ready spells in this list, right? So there's a ton of flex options for Kaya in terms of the starting configuration for Maeoni. We know with pretty much certainty, right? I say not completely without a doubt, but we know without a doubt that we're going to get Silver Snake and Gilder almost always.
I would say 100% Silver Snake and Gilder.
So the question you then have is, do you...
I think it's highly likely that he starts 3-Eyed Owl.
You think so against Aradel? To just draw the Water Blast off?
Yes. Even with Water Blast, I think 3-Eyed is good against 4-book in general. Because... he has a tendency to start something like Snake Gilder, Frostfang, and some stuff,
mm-hmm.
right? You probably have to start a Golden Veil because we know Philly is heavy on first 5ing a Fester.
Mm-hmm.
But if the reason that the 3-8 Owl is good, it has 2 modes. It has mode of survives and makes him discard, or eat the water blast, and
Yeah, Inquisitor,
you
go
really
ahead.
want to water blast the Frostfang, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think a common mistake many players have against Maeoni is leaving those allies up, and they just give so much speed to the snake, essentially, right? Because that 3/1 with command strike for free is just deal 3 damage for 2 basic dice, and you can really slow the snake down when you take away that power, right, from the snake's board, and with
Right.
no.
There's not really another guy that uh because even if he decides to start Ironworker,
Mhm.
which is a potential start also instead of Frostfang, because he knows that Ironworker will snipe a Three-Eyed, a Mindfog, a Gilder, or a Cobra. The only thing that Frostfang hits that those don't is Bear. Um, the I don't know.
So
It's rough,
I
right?
do
Like,
think Root Armor is a good potential call here, on the Frostfang in particular, because it does take away. And Inquisitor's adding this to the chat, and Fighting's asking, does Philly have an answer to Frostfang Root Armor? And D Gold is predicting that the snake is going to lose to fatigue damage. That's a bold prediction. I don't think Maeoni in particular has to meditate too hard with their
well,
dice spreads.
we saw in the game against the only time we watched this deck on stream prior to the top 8, right, was um against creepers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And in that game, it went a long time, but he didn't get decked. That went to like round 7 or something.
Right.
And Carl did get decked because Carl rolled like 14 basics in round 4 and 5, or 3 and 4. I don't remember which. But it's possible that with Philly's version, it does mill him. And Denver, I agree. I don't think it mills any harder than we think it will. We've watched that deck on stream a couple of times, and like it definitely just mills you, right? Like it just but I think that again, the only thing that matters is whatever Philly's doing races against 1 or 2 snake attacks.
Right.
Usually 2. With Aradel, it's more likely to be 1, but I still think it's usually 2.
Right.
And Phil does have, the set of Festers and the set of Blood Chains. Inquisitor's first 5 is pretty on point. We saw Carl with the Root Armored Frostfang a couple seasons ago, and there are decks that literally just can't deal with that. Having the Molten Gold or the Blood Chains makes that a little worse, but not impossible.
Yeah, I think, if I'm Phil, I'm just going to say this just from my experience, going long with Snake is a super risky play. Because
one thing to consider in the first 5 is, instead of GV, first 5ing a Fate Reflection.
Sure. That's a Fate Reflection is actually, in my opinion, better against Odette and Aradel than Golden Veil, and it allows you to save the Golden Veil.
I don't think it's better against Odette because of Sword. Like, Sword is a very first 5able card.
Sure.
But I believe what you said is correct about Aradel. The Aradel decks tend to have, obviously have Water Blast, but they also tend to have a million other pings.
Well, it's interesting because the Fate Reflection, like if you Fate Reflect, like think of it like this: if you were to enter the fray on a Frostfang and you have Fate Reflection, Odette just takes 5 damage from that.
No, she takes 3 and 2 damage goes to a unit.
Well,
Fate Reflection does not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can't redirect the Fate Reflection to PV, right?
the uh I I mean, I think Fate Reflection is good against Odette. I do not think that it's better than Golden Veil against Odette, is what I was saying, because of Sword.
Does Phil have Bill says I Ice Trap Frostfang, got GV'd, but then killed with Vamp. Yeah. That's a good call, Bill. I think to first five an Ice Trap here.
I don't know if he has Ice Trap. I don't think he has any reactions, actually.
Well, the one thing you can do there, yeah, I don't know if Phil has any Ice Traps either, but I mean, I really like Ice Trap in general.
Yeah, he has 0 reaction spells.
Yeah. I didn't think Phil was running any there. We'll get into that a little bit more, but I mean, there's definitely some interesting play here. Nature's Wrath is a powerful card against Phil's deck in general. I don't know if Guilt Link is a great answer, because you're probably going to be down on units compared to your opponent just in general against Aradel. And so I'm not sure that we'll see the Guilt Link get played here.
Right. I don't think that Guilt Link I don't think the Guilt Link is good in this matchup. We saw Bill's deck, which again, he said he didn't play Guilt Link like at all anytime. We saw him against Philly and he didn't start the Guilt Link either, because you just like, you're never going to be up a dice. You can be up a small amount of value by sacking a Gilder to kill their like Cobra or something.
Right.
And you are up like a percentage of a dice, but you're also down a card in round 1 by playing the ready spell itself. And I don't think you can afford that.
If you're Kaya, do you start Ice Trap? I mean, Ice Trap looks pretty good against Phil.
Specifically for what, though, is the question. Like,
most likely the Mind Fog Owl.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Philly start Mind Fog yet.
Right.
He's been on Three-Eyed.
Isn't Ice Trap just as good for you to deal with? I mean, you have an easy way to deal with Three-Eyed, but then to deal with the Cobra so you don't get milled. I mean, it kind of still takes one card, I guess, that way, but...
If you're starting an Ice Trap, like, you can't start a Root Armor, and you can't start a Frostfang, right? Because you can't make Snake and Gilder, like 4 Nature Dice is Snake, Gilder, Frostfang, and one of the things that Inquisitor was saying was, you play the Gilder book, but don't make a Gilder.
Right.
And play Frostfang Root Armor. But I don't know that you can afford to do that. If you're going to start Frostfang Root Armor, I think you're not starting Gilder. And I don't know that that's good.
Well, that would be the reason you have 2 Gilders, right? But it is definitely a tempo hit to the Snake to not have the inheritance token from the Gilder.
Or the Unit Guard, which is specifically, right, I think, very important in this matchup.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be, I mean, I don't think I
think the match is going to be absolutely great. I'm very excited to watch this match. I think the Maeoni matches are very cool because it doesn't play out the way you think it's going to. Like, even the number of Snake matches that I've watched, like, and commented on, you'd think that I would understand it by now, but I get it wrong half the time. And I like that. Like, I like the interesting lines. It was super interesting to me how the match went against Creepers, where in like I was saying, round 3 through 5, he audibled to a Magic Siphon line because he was trying to play around the one remaining redirect. And Carl happened to roll very badly, so the Magic Siphon got him really good, and then he switched back to win with Snake. So I'm very excited for this match. It's going to be awesome. The previous matches with Snake have been awesome. Obviously, we've seen it in the finals. Is this the 3rd time?
Yeah, this will be 3rd time. All the odd season shuffle buses have had Snake in finals, and then nobody brings Snake in the even season. So we'll have to see if anybody decides to break the gentleman's agreement.
The joke being that, like, in the even seasons, there's been so many Heralds because of.
And Harold has been in the finals of all the even seasons, which has been funny too to watch happen. And Harold
that dichotomy of Harold and Maeoni makes sense from like a meta point of view.
Sure.
But
you would think at some point that would mash together, and eventually we'd have a tournament with kind of a good distribution of both of them. Now, this is the only snake deck this season, right? Like, I mean, Kaile is the only one to bring Maeoni this season, so
and obviously done great with it. I mean, like we were talking about before, I think on the last 2 or 3 streams, it's a bugaboo, right? Like, it's like in the seasons that it dodges the things that are good against it, it crushes, right? Because it is extremely powerful. So we'll see what goes on here. I want Philly to win. I have been like, I just think he deserves an undefeated season after several undefeated Swisses, but
for sure.
But this is not going to be an easy matchup for him.
No, in fact, I personally believe this is a tough matchup for Phil. I think that if the snake gets turned on, Phil's going to have a hard time overpowering all of the golden veils.
And it's very possible that Frostfang Root Armor is good enough that you can forego the Gilder. But it's difficult to say, right? Because he does have Molten Gold and he does have Blood Chains. And, you know, the big thing that the Frostfang does is it guns down the bear more than once in the game off command strike when it sticks, and it just sits there and like threatens to block. Because even on the block, it doesn't die to anything. But if he has if you make a first 5 that revolves around you making Frostfang, which you essentially have to Root Armor immediately against Water Blast, like you're spending 2 of your nature dice or 3 of your nature dice and committing 2 cards to the board. And even though the Blood Chains doesn't actually kill it, it essentially turns off your command strike for the round.
Right.
Because I don't think that you can afford, like let's see if we can build a first 5 that has another 2 damage command strike in it off of that.
Well, it'd have to be on the back of if you started Frostfang, Ironworker, Root Armor, Snake. That's 3 cards. Then you could go Three-Eyed Owl as 4th card and Magic Siphon as the 5th card.
You just can't do that because you would also have to start like GV or Fate Reflection, because then the Frostfang is going to get Water Blasted.
Right. Oh, all right. I agree. Well, I'm saying you Frostfang. If you
or not the Frostfang, sorry, the Frostfang won't get Water Blasted because it's armor 2. The Ironworker will get
right. I mean, I think you can't protect it all, right? So at the end of the day, you're either going to go all in on this Frostfang, but I don't think you have to play. Like, I'm actually not like, the more we talk about this, the more I'm not sure if root arming the Frostfang is actually the best thing that could be done here. And
no, I don't think it's the safest thing, but it is a mind game that's going to go on between the 2 first 5s, because it's also very possible that Root Armor, if Philly decides to start the Molten Gold or the Blood Chains, then his first 5 will beat the Frostfang first 5.
Yeah, Inquisitors brings up a good point in chat here about you want the Golden Veil over Fate Reflection to cover a first 5 gold on the other side, because Fate Reflection can't reflect the gold.
Right, but again, that all of this talk about it essentially comes down to whether you're all in on Frostfang or not. Because if Philly just starts, Bear, Mindfog, Cobra, Gilder, and I don't know, some other pressure card. What if you do that and he starts Choke?
Yeah, for sure.
And
right?
and then you can't use the Frostfang anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Choke looks pretty good here as well.
But it's only good in that case. This is the thing, is we have this weird if this then this first 5 situation, right?
Yeah.
Where if he goes all in, if he starts GV, Frostfang, Root Armor, and Philly starts Choke, he's behind a lot.
Right.
But if he goes half in on it, then he can get got by Molten Gold. If he goes just Frostfang, it's going to eat the Water Blast, which maybe he's okay with. Because if he just starts like if he just starts Three-Eyed and Frostfang, we've already overloaded the Water Blast, so he doesn't need to go crazy.
Right.
And Inquisitor, you say that's only 5 base damage. You're right. She's okay taking 5, but is she okay starting round 2 down by that many dice?
Right. I mean,
like
that's
down 3 units or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for. I mean, Maeoni is really good at flipping the battlefield back into her advantage eventually because of command strike and just units attacks and things like that. But it can be a hard slog for her, especially with 4-book with like 2 life and 2 life plus units, right? I mean, Phil. I mean, there's. I don't know what Phil will start. We'll talk a little bit about Phil's start here in just a few minutes. I mean, we're still just focused on this Maeoni list a little bit, but it's really interesting. I mean, we're talking about mind games here, right? Like, because you can't answer it all. You only have 5 cards. You can't answer everything, so you have to sort of make an educated guess as to what your opponent might start, and that can make things really difficult.
Yeah,
in general,
I think Denver, you're asking about if he's worried about Three-Eyed, would he start Fire Archer to pitch it? I think if he was going to start a unit to pitch, he would pick Violinist because Violinist is such higher impact than Fire Archer.
right.
But I think in general, if the Maeoni is on Three-Eyed, you kind of have to Water Blast it. Like, your first 5 is just very low impact if you're discarding a card to it.
Sure.
Because by starting Fire Archer, you're essentially like that's almost like discarding a card because the Fire Archer is so low impact against the Maeoni. It's like do a damage to Maeoni and then put a counter on Snake is like what it is.
Right.
Obviously it can maybe pressure a guard, maybe it does a damage to Snake or whatever, but having the 1/1 is not very important, I don't think. I don't know. And maybe the Violinist is good enough to do that with, because then he could have Bear is 3, Gilder's 5, unit is 7 because you have to pay the ceremonial tax, and then you could have Mindfog and Cobra or Mindfog and Three-Eyed. But you got to remember that like this could easily just be like both of them first 5 a Three-Eyed Owl, and then the Maeoni has to like spend a horsepower as essentially the only out besides Essence Druid, and I don't think
or Command Strike. She can play Frostfang into Command Strike to kill the owl. But you're giving up. Well, yeah, but
you seem. I would be pretty happy if my owl got Command Strike.
I agree, but that's about your only answer as a Maeoni player to oppose the Three-Eyed Owl.
That's so bad that I didn't even consider that as an option. Like I think that it would just be a 9 dice start with
Well, I don't. Inquisitor says I don't know
what units are you gonna play then?
He's got to play. I mean, he's got to play.
Are you talking about Violinist and Fire Archer? Because that's why I was saying Fire Archer is bad. But if specifically to the point of him trying to get a free card out of Ceremonial Power, it has to be one of those two. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to try to Water Blast it.
Yeah.
But this is why I think that Three-Eyed is very good for the Maeoni.
All right, so we've got giveaways still to do, Neil, and we've got about an hour to get them all done. So we're going to do another giveaway. We can continue this discussion after the giveaway is over. But let's do the Mist Spirits. How's everybody feel about giving away the Alt Art Mist Spirits? Everybody want
to get like this? The full of them, or however many there are?
The full 10. So you can fill an entire Koji battlefield with Alt Art Mist Spirits here. So a Shufflebus competitor.
God, they're so thick.
They are thick. They are thick boys and girls. I don't, like end of the day, like we'll have some more giveaways as we move forward here. But all right, so we're gonna do a pick here. We got a random name picker here. Time to pick a random name.
Everybody joined Level Up, apparently, Facebook Gaming. That advertisement was on there like 7 times.
Oh, I know. So Waterbender picking up the Miss Spirit alt arts. Waterbender, congratulations on that, man. I will be reaching out to you on the
Waterbender.
Discord. I'm not sure if he's here
I've
tonight.
had a wonderful time interacting with Waterbender since preseason when we were testing all the time. So congratulations, and I hope you like Misfits. I guess.
Yeah, I hope maybe you'll get some use out of the Miss Spirit alt arts here, Waterbender. Waterbender had Waterbender. A couple things I note on Waterbender. He had,
not to take anything away from the promos, because the promos are all sweet looking. I don't know when I would ever play a Miss Spirit.
Sure. I played it in that Noah deck that I played in person. They were fine and fun in that scenario where your opponent, doesn't necessarily know to start Nature's Wrath on you. But yeah, so Waterbender, a couple things. Waterbender was live on stream, so he got 3 extra entries for that. And Waterbender also was a tier 1 on Ashteki. So thank you for that, Waterbender. Appreciate that, man. Just huge plus for helping Dijon out by being in that space. So much deserved to get the Misspirits. That's another player that had multiple entries getting prizes. So I'm glad to see that system's working.
That's how math should work. So
right, absolutely. The don't mind Carl's name there. I was just testing the picker earlier. Carl hasn't won anything yet. So we've got Doctor who won Rin, and Miss Spirit won by Waterbender. So the next giveaway here is we're going to talk about the community vote winner for the translucent dice set. I want to let you know that we got 35 responses here. Shrant says, I hope everyone wins except Neil. Well, Shrant, good news.
I'm not allowed to win.
Neil can't win. So he is safe and sound there for you. That's so funny.
Perfect. Yep.
That's awesome. So let's go ahead and get into this a little bit. So we had 35 people respond. We ended up in a pretty tight race for this. It was great to see a bunch of votes get spread out. I think at the end of the day,
this is a hard pick, right? Like, the community is so great. It's
And is Neil going Roboto for you guys? Or are you still hearing Neil okay? Zoom is acting up, I think, tonight. I think it might be the first time that Zoom is acting up.
Domo Arigato,
You're definitely Roboto here. Let me try to free some stuff up here and just make sure it's not my system.
You sound okay to me.
Yeah, it just could be everything going on. So I'm gonna try to. Gold thought it was his headphones.
Not surprised
it was Neil's fault.
I think it's actually Jesse's fault, but
let's take.
Thought I was T-Pain.
Let's see what's.
Wow, a free trip for a boat ride.
Yeah, right. I wonder if it's this website.
I'm gonna take you and T-Pain.
Okay, so I am going to start trying to free some stuff up here. Yeah, I got 100% CPU usage thanks to Chrome. Chrome is using 2 gigs of memory right now.
No, Cam, I was not rapping again. I rapped exactly once. Which is more than most folks, I think. But
it's definitely more than most folks, without a doubt.
Thank you, Stefan. I
think we cleared
that guy.
I know. I do too.
I don't know if any of those Transformers guys ever tune into us anymore, but I miss them. That was a good community.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's this picker website that's creating all kinds of problems for Chrome. Imagine that. Free sites that are full of ads are bound to be a problem. So 19 competitors got votes. I mean, that's really awesome, first off.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that, one of the one of the things about Shufflebus tournaments in particular that I think is so great is just the community of you all. Like everybody that we play with is super nice, super friendly, willing to discuss matches, willing to talk about first fives, willing to talk about the match afterwards, give people learning opportunities. I can't applaud you all enough for just the outpouring of community support and essentially love that exists in this community.
Right. I have never had a bad experience interacting with anyone in the community.
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not very often that you get that much positivity wrapped up in one place, and that's a real testament to the Ashes community and the sort of family that the Ashes community
I was just
is.
talking about the Transformers community, right? Like I still think that community is great. There's a ton of awesome people there. But like literally the first tournament they had prizes in online, there was a cheater, and then we had to change the rules.
Right. Yep. And that's just.
So I'm glad that we haven't run into that kind of stuff. And
yeah, me too, for sure. Cam's adds to the best community I've been part of, for sure. All right, so in third place with 8.6% of the vote is D Gold. D, man, you're so close here. Thank you so much for being such a great new addition to this community. I know you're in chat right now.
Especially for somebody that like just joined prior to this season, you know.
Right.
Just brand. I guess I don't know what your history was in 1.0 or playing before, but brand new to the community, already awesome. Everybody loves you.
I mean, it's just a real testament to your attitude towards Ashes and how much everybody wants to be part of, gaming with you. So, congrats on that, man. Third place is super awesome here. And then we've got in second place with 11.4% of the vote. So, not a huge gap here. Impossible German. I mean, who doesn't love your friendly German, right? Even if he does met away all his loyalty cards every match.
That's part of his charm.
I know, it is. Like, he is such a charming bastard.
He would lose like 4 percentage points if he wasn't always meditating.
For sure. So German coming in second on the community vote. No doubt about it, German is a huge advocate for this community. He is constantly plugging Shufflebus, plugging Ashes anywhere and everywhere he can. He is definitely the personal hype man for everybody. So
also he did some work for us too.
He did, yes. So all of our subs, and if you're not a sub, why not? All of our subs got Ash Techie backgrounds, and those were designed by Germans. So yet another huge community contributor and deserving of all this praise for sure. So German, we love you. Congrats on second place. But here is our first place winner and the person that is going to get the translucent dice set. This is community voted on, and with 14.3% of the vote, JK007. JK, man, what a season for you.
Also a rookie, also an amazing season.
Right, absolutely. And JK's another one of those guys that if you've spent some time playing games with him, you know he's just super awesome to chat with and super friendly to play games with. And you can definitely see why the community would say
I think he's not here because he went on
vacation.
He went on vacation.
So unless he's watching,
I hope he watches this post stream. But yeah, he obviously awesome to see the rookie on the list. Awesome to see the rookie into top 8, top 4,
and rewarded with community vote for translucent dice set. So JK, I'll get in touch with you, but after I get back from Thanksgiving, and we'll get it figured out and get some dice shipped to you. So hey, JK, first time chat too. Look at that.
I guess he's here anyway.
He's in and watching. He goes, wow, thanks everyone. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Congratulations. Very well deserved. This was really fun. I enjoyed
season. Absolutely great season.
And I just enjoyed this. I enjoyed getting to hear. There was a lot of stories that, like, as people were voting and talking about this and chatting about how it was hard to make the vote, they were just talking about their experiences with the people they voted for. And, it just reminded me how great this community is, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on that is kind of intangible and you don't see it. You just kind of know it's there under the surface. And so those stories coming to light were really awesome. And so I appreciate y'all sharing that. But JK, well-deserved, man. Thank you for being such an outstanding member of this community, and you got some dice coming your way very soon. All right. Neil, should we cut over to Phil, talk about Phil's deck for a little bit, and then we'll do some more giveaways?
Yeah, we can go back to the decks. I think Philly's first 5 is going to be not as like the breakdown isn't as important here. We know he's going to start 4 of the 5 books, and unless he thinks this is some kind of very bad matchup, he's going to start 4 of 5 books. Because I think starting only 3 books and 2 cards puts the 4-book deck at a big at a power level much lower than it's normally at.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, because he doesn't have a knight or like some other big like kind of power plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can do that. I think he will start three-eyed. I think it's good.
I think 3-eyed puts a lot of pressure on the Maeoni player here.
The Maeoni has the single horse dice, which makes the 3-eyed a little worse in the Aradel deck than it is in the Maeoni deck, because the Aradel doesn't have the free like 380 it's a dice instead of a card kind of tech, but it still puts a lot of pressure on since it's the only dice. I'm trying to think if there's something that he would want to play off of that sympathy dice that wouldn't get hit, but I can't really think of anything. He's got a Guilt Link. He has an Essence Druid. Neither of those cards are going to matter in first 5. He's got the Explosive Growth, not going to matter in first 5. So yeah, I think that if Philly starts 3-eyed, it's just essentially putting the Maeoni on spend a horsepower and play 9 dice.
So D-Gold asks, could he first 5 Blood Chains and find a path to double exhaust Snake in R1?
It's difficult to do because you've seen him make a double exhausted Blood Chains play in a few of the matches we've seen him on stream. But really the only thing that kind of like puts an extraneous counter on is Nature's Wrath. He has the Gilder, but I think a lot of the times we're not going to see like Gilder a Cobra and then just leave it that way for a long time.
Right.
And I think that if his plan is to do that, to like double Blood Chains the Snake, one, I don't think that's very good because the Snake still grows while it's Blood Chained.
Right.
And it doesn't do much for those first 2 rounds anyway. If you're going to do something like that, you need to try to fester it, essentially.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The Snake itself is going to get put into play in round 1, I assume. Though I suppose it's possible that if he does start Frostfang Root Armor, that he does the opposite of what we were talking about before, where he starts Gilder Book and makes a Gilder, but doesn't make a Snake, and just has Snake Book in play. I think that's probably not very likely, but it is a line.
That'd be an interesting line to take. I don't know.
It just depends on if he thinks that the Gilder is more important. Like,
but does Maeoni actually have a win con if she doesn't get the Snake in play to start?
You just put the Snake in play in round 2. Like,
yeah, but that puts
a lot
of
Maeoni games happen where like the Snake dies in round 1 before it does anything.
Sure.
And it's just kind of similar to that. Like I said, the only reason that this would happen, that this would even be a decision, is if the first 5 contains Gilder, Snake, Frostfang, Root Armor.
See, my bigger concern would be not necessarily that the Snake dies in round 1, but that you didn't force your opponent to spend dice into killing the Snake in round 1.
I agree. This is a very specific circumstance where if he starts Frostfang, Root Armor, Snake Book, and Gilder Book, then you could potentially make a Gilder instead of a Snake if you think that your 5th card would kind of have to be like Essence Druid. I think that works because that's 4, 5. So, yeah, I guess it doesn't seem very good. I mean, neither of those lines seem very good to me with the Root Armored thing, though right. I'm not an expert at this. But yeah, I don't think the only Blood Chains I think is good in round 1 is if you get to Blood Chain, if he starts Root Armor Frostfang and you get to Blood Chains that, because then he essentially doesn't have a guided command strike.
Is Bloodchains good enough even if the root armor doesn't come down there?
If there's no root armor, you just water blast it.
Right, but that's assuming that would be assuming that Kaya doesn't start their own owl, and if Kaya starts their own owl, then you could use the water blast safely on their owl and
Right.
still have an answer.
I don't think that, like, if we're just talking about a removal spell, I think that it's always going to be Fester.
Because the other side of that whole thing is, like, you can just pressure the Frostfang in general, especially if we think Inquisitor's first 5 is right, then there's no Gilder to guard, and so you can force the Maeoni guard early and then kill the Frostfang through just any of your attackers.
Unless he makes a Gilder instead of a snake, which we just talked about.
Right.
Like, that it's this first 5 thing, I don't like, we're not gonna be able to come up with like what is the perfect can't be countered first 5. I think they both have like for Philly, it's essentially one card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like one of Fester, Choke, Bloodchains, Molten Gold. Like those are like the options.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess like going real deep Violinist, if he thinks that the ceremonial power out of Owl is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are like the 5 options, and 3 of them are really similar. Bloodchains, Fester, and Molten Gold are all really similar. They're just like, which one of the things is it specifically best against?
Gold said, when I played Philly, we both thought about first 5 and Choke, which isn't good here, but we both went 4 Books and Fester. Yeah, I mean...
Choke is only good to start if Maeoni starts Frostfang, Root Armor, and Golden Veil.
Right.
Then Choke is very good. Because you're essentially spending 3 cards of your first 5 on the Frostfang itself, and once the Command Strike is taken away, that Frostfang is much less impactful. Though you have to like put a lot of pressure on because it will be impactful in round 2.
Yeah, again, I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think, and I think that I don't know if Fester is good enough here.
The Fester would be for Snake, is what it would be, right? Like you're not going to be able to Fester Fester is never good against Frostfang because you can never put a damage on it without it dying.
Right.
Anyway, so if he starts Fester, it would be for Snake. Because I don't think that there's a world where Essence Druid is good.
Yeah, I agree with that statement for sure.
I guess, like, I'm just trying to think of a first 5 where Essence Druid is good. If you start Gilder Snake, that's 4. Essence Druid is 7.
Well, isn't the Essence Druid specifically? Isn't the Essence Druid specifically for Noah counters? I mean, essentially, like, so you don't get your Snake
that is its like 90% plan, right? That's why it's in there. But like, I'm sure there are decks that Essence Druid is good against.
Sure.
So like let's say you start Owl, Snake, Gilder. That's 5 dice. Essence Druid goes to 8 dice, and then you still have Frostfang. You could have Ironworker. Or you could have like a nature dice plus a Fate Reflection or Golden Veil.
Mm-hmm.
Like that first 5 sounds okay. The only time that's good, like really good, is when if you think that the Aradel is going to start Owl and you discard the Gilders or the Snake Book to the Owl and then play the Essence.
So let's ask this question for just a second. If you're on this plan to kill the Owl through Water Blast and you're going to exhaust the Frostfang, so then you get no Command Strike off the Frostfang, you get 0 attack off the Frostfang, the Snake is essentially a 0/4. You don't really have to worry about the Snake in round 1 at that point because
the Snake will attack you for 1 damage.
Where does it get the 1 from?
The Gilder.
You're assuming the Gilder kills something then on the opponent's side.
No, I'm assuming the Gilder dies.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, just like just
Right.
stands in front of one of the attacks and dies. Now, if he makes Foggy Bear, then the Gilder can't block there. Neither can the Snake, and he gets in. He gets in for 4 on the Maeoni, and the Gilder doesn't get to put a token on, and Maeoni does 0 in round 1. Now, it still has a Snake, a Frostfang up, and a Gilder. That's not bad. It's just
right. I mean, and that's a good start. This is what.
Well, I guess the Blood Chains
about.
is going to kill a unit anyway, so it's going to put us counter automatically there.
Right. It like I wouldn't want to start Blood Chains. It's just
Sure.
like a possible out to the specific Root Armor Frostfang thing.
Right.
I think that Frostfang is a problem for this matchup. Like
Agreed.
it just is. The Aradel has a million pings, and even though the Aradel has printed on it like class dice kill target Frostfang, the Maeoni has enough interaction to stop that she can if she wants. Right? Like 2 Fate Reflections and 3 Golden Veils will stop that if chosen to. In round 1, obviously, because you demonic tutor it, and then in round 2, it's still very likely because even if you first 5 it, you still have 4 copies of counter target Water Blast in your deck.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was just like,
I'm not even sure that the Root Armor is necessary. I think Frostfang is going to be a big enough problem by itself if you start 3-eyed, because you can't Water Blast more than one thing.
Right. I mean, there's no Enlightenments or something in the deck to untap Aradel to get another Water Blast off, right? So, or Generosity here to untap Aradel.
So I'm not sure. I would put Maeoni on Snake Gilder 3-eyed.
So Gold's asking, do you want to take it out to force the opponent to spend 2 dice? I think after round 1, the spend of the 2 dice is probably nearly meaningless for the Maeoni player. I mean, a lot of times I've seen Maeoni decks just like not spend all their dice in a round.
If you think that you're going to kill it in round 2, you should try to kill it in round 1 so that you spend your dice in the previous round and don't have to spend your dice in round 2.
Right.
Like if you kill it around 2 or round 1, the Maeoni still only has to spend 2 dice in round 2 to make it up.
Right.
Whereas you have the option to spend your removal in round 1. If you can. There's obviously more interaction than just like spend your removal, but
right.
If your plan was to kill it in round 1 or 2, you should try to kill it in round 1.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you can leave Snake alone for 2 rounds. Like it's fine. It dies to Fester the same at any point in the game, and it gets tapped by Blood Chains the same at any point in the game. I will be interested to see if Philly attacks it. Like this is the big question: is do you attack it with units in round 1?
I think
to try to kill it that way.
I think you're in trouble trying to do that, but it may not be.
I'm not sure what's right, because I kind of agree with you. Like you have to spend 3 guys minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 4 guys.
And he doesn't have 3 2 attackers, right? He's not going to make 3 2 attack guys.
Well, yeah, but he has like Gilder ping and he has like Frog ping. That there's going to be more going on than just attacks. Like
right.
So I think it's usually 3 or 4 attacks with the Maeoni / Gilder guard. But I think that just going to face is better. One of the things that's interesting is, will Philly start Mind Fog over Cobra? He's been
on Cobra.
In all the games that I've seen, he started 3-eyed Cobra, Gilder Bear.
But the Cobra looks a little weak here other than just the mill, right? And the mill's not irrelevant because you have the opportunity to hit valuable cards for Maeoni like Explosive Growth and Golden Veils. And
well, the 1/2 is still pretty good. Like,
that's okay.
It's usually going to just like do a damage to Gilder.
Right.
But that's fine because, to your point, it like also mills him.
Right.
And if you have enough Blood Chains or whatever, and it's a lot of it comes down to like how many Golden Veils are meditated, I think.
Mm-hmm. Or milled.
Because it's very possible that the Maeoni gets milled. Because it can take the Maeoni a long time to win.
Sure.
It doesn't always take Maeoni a long time to win. I mean, we saw in the first round of top 8, it won very quickly.
Yeah. No. I mean, for sure. Okay, so we're going to run out of time. We've got a lot of giveaways still to do. I'm not trying to...
Yeah.
But
you should fire up some giveaways.
Yeah, let's do some giveaways.
We're not going to get any closer to the first 5s than we are now.
Right.
Just the specific things that we talked about that are like, this is if this kind of thing is what we need to think about, and we'll see what they actually pick.
All right, so Wayne Salter, who has an Etsy and advertises on the Facebook group quite frequently, gifted us. So Wayne, first off, huge thank you for the gift, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
totally,
that. Gifted us 2 Phoenixborn dice trays. And so what this does is allows you to put your Phoenixborn in the top, your deck in the bottom, or your reference card, whatever you need. And then you've got one side to hold your dice when they're active and the other side when they're exhausted.
Right. So it is the width of 1 playing card and the height of 2 playing
cards. Right, exactly. So you can decide how you want to use that based on your skill set. We've got 2 of these, so we're going to give these 2 away right now. One player is going to get,
both to me.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give it to 2 separate players is what I'm saying. So I will send...
Me twice.
You're not in the list. Get out of here. Neil is over here hacking the picker. All right, so
that's why I went so robo, because I'm using up my computer resources to hack you.
All right, so D Gold coming in, getting it, man. D Gold. Huge chatter. Love having you in chat, man. Super awesome. Got himself a dice tray and Phoenixborn tray for his Ashes game. So congrats to that, Gold. I will make sure you get that sent out. I will be in touch with you soon to get your address and picking up a prize here.
Do you think he lives in Denver?
I do think he does live in Denver. D Gold also had just 1 million entries here, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah. Well, again, well deserved. Obviously, anybody that was on the top community list, that's great. That you've been an excellent addition to the community. So congratulations.
All right. So we got D Gold in here with a dice tray. Coming your way, Gold. I'll be in touch soon. Congrats on that. Second dice tray is going to Josh. Another sub. Josh, I swear I'm not waiting this on the subs.
I like how it's Josh.
Yep. And Josh was another one that spent some time on cam with us this season, had a feature match, and then also another Ash Techie Tier 1 Patreon. So thanks for that, Josh. We appreciate it, man. Your dice tray is on its way. I'll be in touch with you soon to get your address and information to send it out.
Yep, very cool.
All of these guys, so just so everybody is aware, and I'll bring this up again at the end of the stream, but I leave tomorrow, so they're not shipping before Thanksgiving. So it'll be next week when I get back. I will get everything in the mail and send you all tracking numbers so you know that it's all coming to you, and we'll go from there. I've got 2 giveaways left, Neil. We got about 20 minutes left before the finals. Should we just do them? You guys just want to get all the giveaways out of the way now, and we can focus on the finals for the last 20 minutes before finals takes off here?
Yeah, I think you can just fire them off.
All right. So do you want the playmat first or the translucent dice? Which one do y'all want more? Let's hear it. Chat. This is your chance. Shadowfire says do it now. So playmat or dice. So we got a translucent dice set. Ooh. And then I have to leave my station to get this one. The Brennan versus Rin playmat. Shrant's voting for the playmat. You're not even in this vote, Shrant. You can't even win. Sorry, man. You didn't play. You gotta start playing Ashes, dude. Come on. We can get this set up. It's not that hard. Neil can teach you. I can teach you. And, it's all played online. So it's not like you can really say, well, I don't have a play group. It's not even an objection at this point. Okay. Shran says hashtag rigged. Yeah, it is, man. Sorry about that. The free stuff that we're giving away to people,
He's just my bum friend. Like,
yeah, yeah. That's so funny. No, it's still good gold. We love having Shrant around, and Shrant's a good card player, so we should get him to play. I'm telling you, I got mad into the game.
let's not say anything nice about Shrant. Come on.
I'm allowed to do that. You're not. Okay. That's the way this works. It's like good cop, bad cop. Good is a stretch, he says. Yeah. Okay, fair enough, man.
I met him playing Magic cards.
Yeah.
And in a hole in the wall in Columbus, Nebraska.
That's awesome. Let's do. Yeah. I'm going to vote for the playmat. Shrant voted on the playmat, so I guess we'll give him.
We'll do what Shrant says.
He's the only one that voted, so let's just let's give Shrant what he wants here. So the playmat is going to Fighting Walloon. Fighting Walloon, congratulations, man! If you're here, super big congrats. I know you were here earlier, but you got yourself an Ashes.
All you have to do is subscribe, and you get a playmat.
I'm telling you, it's I don't know what's happening here.
At the bottom right here, most recent subscriber, Fighting Walloon.
Yeah, not and Fighting only had one entry, so hey, man, like you can still win on one entry.
Fighting, obviously, we love having you around. You've been around since the beginning, and
you just won yourself an Ashes playmat, dude. Congrats on that. You came back at exactly the right moment.
He has the VIP and the 6-month subscriber star.
Yep. So, did you get a chance to see it, or do you want me to put it back up on screen? It's Brennan versus Rin, and it's been folded for a super long time, and I've had it laid out on my table for a while, and it's still kind of wanting to curl up on itself. So,
hey, Brian.
But it is yours. What's up, Brian? So, but this is your map, man. I will be reaching out.
Is there a promo Brennan that has that same picture?
Yes, but it's from it's from season 1.
Right. It's not. I know it doesn't have the same text.
It's no longer text legal, so that's why we didn't give it away.
I was just curious because I never seen that picture before, and I found out tonight that.
No, Carl. Coming up here in about 20 minutes. Game starts in about 20 minutes. So we're just doing giveaways right now. Finishing up our giveaways.
The mat is cool for sure. The art in this game is awesome.
Yes, the art in Ashes is just absolutely out of this world. All right, so we've got the translucent dice set left. This is it. Last winner of the night. I don't think I've got anything else. I think we gave away the kitchen sink at this point.
Next winner gets Jesse's kitchen sink.
You got to come uninstall it yourself though, because my wife wants a new kitchen sink. So, Brian says not much. Looking forward to the finals and everyone finally bowing reluctantly before Maeoni. Fine says next winner gets $10,000. Yeah. Shrant goes, can I get the sink giveaway? Yeah, Shrant. I'll let you know when we get it pulled out. You can have it when we're done. It's a nice stainless steel tub. It's all yours, man. You can come pick it up.
At least he lives in the same town.
That's true. That's true. The shipping will be very, very effective for everybody here. All right, so here we go. Winner of the translucent dice, and our last giveaway for the night goes to Squaricle. Squaricle, woo! I met Squaricle in person in Kansas City. He was a So congrats, Squaricle. Don't know if you're on the stream tonight. Not, I'll be reaching out to you to ship you some dice. But you won the translucent dice set, so super awesome. Another Shufflebus rookie.
Yep.
So we rookies did well this season, man. They got a bunch of stuff here. So
we just had a bunch of rookies.
We did.
Not to take away from anybody that won anything or did well in the tournament, but we did. Like, did we have more rookies this season than the other ones besides season 1? Obviously,
I think so. Yes.
Hey, Christian, it is finals night. That is accurate.
All right. So we have all of our prizes accounted for tonight. And congrats to all of those winners. How many of the rookies are secretly Pratt? Yeah, that's a good question.
Christian just has 20 accounts. Like,
he just plays himself. It's a lonely existence for Christian, just playing solo Ashes all the time. That's just how it works out. So, so we are all wrapped up with giveaways. So our winners are Doctor, Waterbender, D Gold, Josh, and Fighting Walloon and Squaricle.
Yeah, like Jesse said, you will get a
Adam, you did. You won an alt art Rin. So I'll be reaching out to you to send that over to you.
Yeah, if someone shows up to an in-person event with the dice tray of playmat and translucent dice, be suspicious. Just Christian monopolizing the lottery. Yeah. Congrats, everybody. I'm glad that we were able to do some prizes this season. Like, we want to incentivize you guys to come play, be a part of the community.
We hope we can keep that going.
Thanks to everybody that gave us those things. I plug the guy that makes that dice trays again.
Yeah, Wayne Salter. He's you look him up on Facebook. He's got a sweet token set if you don't have it yet. I mean, it is awesome. And I bought a token set for myself. When he told me he was going to give us some dice trays, I was like, dude, I'm buying a token set. And then I bought a second token set, and that was the prize I gave away at my local tournament and Chaos Theory won that. So,
and also thanks to you, because you gave up one dice set, but also thanks to Plaid Hat and Nick for providing the other one.
Yes,
didn't they give it to us?
He did. Nick sent me a second set because he was like super awesome and thought I was going to keep it for myself, and I said nope, I'm gonna donate that. So one was the set I won through AIL, and the second set was supposed to be his like little thank you gift to me for everything we did, and I said I'm gonna give it back to the community. So I don't have any translucent dice. If I show up, I'm playing with regular dice. Can you drop the name in chat? Yeah, let me see if I can find a link for him. That's a good point. I should have been more prepared for this tonight, but that's just the way I roll. I know he's in the UK, so the shipping's a little expensive. Just a heads up on that, but it's totally worth it. It's easily the nicest looking token set I've ever done and seen. I mean, I've bought token sets for other games, and his sets just are second to none. I mean, it's super awesome. Let me see here. Here we go. I think I've got it. That's a photo. That's not the link. I need the link. Here we go. Yep. Okay. Dropping the link in chat for you all. Be sure to head over to that, and if you want to get yourself a sweet token set, trust me, you will not be disappointed. Did I lose Neil?
Test.
You're back. Okay, I did lose you in that process.
I'm not sure if it was on my end or yours, but like, because it looks like the stream is down.
Oh, I'm still chatting with everybody, so must have been your end.
Maybe it's my end.
Yeah. All right. So we are about 15 minutes away. Christian, you're still here. Good to know, man. I'm glad I didn't lose you. I can only do this show if you're here. That's all there is to it, man. Like I can't do it any other way. I need your moral and mental support through this whole process. So we have talked about the decks, Neil. We've talked about potential first fives and the mind games that can happen in those first fives for both Maeoni and Aradel, Philly, and Kaile here. What's your prediction? Who do you think takes it home?
My serious prediction?
Prediction.
I think the Maeoni is favored. Just because of the things we talked about, I think that the first five for Maeoni is more flexible and more forgiving. But like, if I was betting on it, like I'm talking like 55-45 or like 60-40, right? Like not heavily favored. So
I think we lost Neil again. Looks like he's having internet problems. That's going to be a real bummer if we have problems with him tonight. I agree with Neil here. I do think the Maeoni deck is favored slightly. I don't think it's a large margin, and I think that play mistakes from either player could be the difference in this game, and that's whenever you have razor thin margins like that, it becomes a real issue for sure. So I'm yeah, so we'll see if we can get Neil back here. Give me about 5 minutes here. I'm going to see if I can chat with him and see if he's good to go, or if I need to call in a backup commentary here for the match, because it looks like we did get a DC from him again. Put you in, coach. You feel confident, Trant, that you can commentate this game? Okay. Give us just a second here. I'm going to switch over. Be right back.
Hello? You there, Jesse?
All right, Neil,
Hello?
are you good now?
I hope so.
Okay.
I
didn't know if you were going to make it.
I don't know what my computer's doing, so hopefully we'll make it through.
Yeah, I stepped away for just a second here while you were reconnecting and sent you a Slack message, so I didn't know if you saw that. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So we are getting closer here. I was saying when you sort of DC'd here, Fighting says gotta stop playing video. Commentating. How did you know that I play most of my Ashes games while playing video games at the same time? You just don't see the controller in my hands, but it's right here. I'm kidding. I don't actually play while I'm playing. I'm not that good.
I also have a controller right here.
Yeah, but you're like a PC master or ace guy or whatever, right?
Well, apparently not, since I can't get to work tonight for the commentary.
Yeah, you just got to run a cheap pre-built pile of garbage like I got. It works better than anything.
I don't know what's going on. It's wacky.
Shrant says you're lucky to make it back because he was about to sub in as co-commentary for tonight.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Carl plays NCAA 14 while playing Ashes all the time. Did you just let the computer run the plays at that point, Carl? Do you just let the AI run, like you just make the play call and then go play Ashes while the computer runs the play, or what? I mean, like, I don't know how that works. Yeah, I'm super excited for a new NCAA, by the way. I can't wait for that to come out. Now that they've got this name, image, and likeness thing, they're talking about re-releasing an NCAA, which is super awesome. So, but anyways, okay. So as we were saying, getting back on topic now. They just announced it 2 or 3 months ago that it was going to be 2023, I think, for the first one. And I guess, yeah, we definitely need a separate college football stream at some point. For sure. But yeah, so anyways, to get back on topic, because we've got a finals to talk about here in 8 minutes, and college football is a whole nother area that I could dive down. But like I've been toying with starting a pod just for college football, man. Like I love to talk college football.
Get Carl on it.
Yeah, I would love to. Maybe that's something we could do, Carl. We could just do a pod for college football. Like, be kind of fun. But I was saying I agree with you, Neil. I think Maeoni's got a slight advantage.
Right. I think that Maeoni is favored. I'm interested to see, because I think that the Aradel's best plan is just to, do what the 4 book does, essentially just like apply a bunch of pressure.
Right.
But it's gonna revolve around like moving that Frostfang out of the way. And that's not hard for it to do, because you can do stuff like, even if you don't play the direct removal spell for it, you can like make Cobra or Gilder first and like just like try to get it to block. Obviously it'll never counter if you attack it directly, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's look, it's a we have seen this matchup, and Fighting brings it up. It's a good point. We saw this matchup in Shufflebus 3, but I think it's hard to take the Shufflebus 3 analysis and plug it in.
What was the outcome in Shufflebus 3? I don't even remember.
The Maeoni won.
Okay.
Carl won, but obviously because Carl won the season, they met in I think top 8 or top 4.
This was a top 8 match. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Carl won, but it's they could have played in Swiss and
they might have played in Swiss too. It might have become, but they might have been split. Carl can maybe comment more on that. He's in chat here, but Chad says not playing video games, but just finished a Mad Rush and Dominion before the match started. Well, Dominion's a good game. And I don't blame you for Mad Rush.
I love that game. Oh my god! So
I do think that he won
the top 4. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think it's hard because the the Frostfang is like the key component. I think. And I don't know that Root Armor Frostfang is fully necessary, but just the Frostfang by itself is complicated enough.
I
don't know. We'll see. And I'm excited to see how both players collectively deal with 3-eyed if they choose to plan around it at all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's like the other those are like the 2 first 5 considerations for me are what happens to the Frostfang and what each player does against the 3-eyed. And I think that the Maeoni is definitely favored in the 3-eyed comparison because of the single sympathy dice. Especially looking at the cards in the deck, like there's not really anything that I think the Maeoni wants to start with that sympathy dice in the first 5, so it's free to do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because here again we've got we've got a finals where outside of everything, how many we had 4 bears I think or 3 bears in the top 4 decks, and we've got a bear making it through to finals, but I think we had a lot of 3-eyeds make it through here, and obviously the finals contains 3-eyed. So we talk a lot about the best conjurations, and I do think that 3-eyed owl is right up there as one of the best, if not the best conjuration in the game.
Yeah, it almost doesn't count as a conjuration, right? Like it chump blocks sometimes, but mostly it's like a ready spell that's 2 main actions make your opponent discard.
Right.
Or I guess it has 3 modes. It has like chump block, or it has 2 main actions make your opponent discard, or 1 main action make your opponent do something stupid to your single charm dice.
Yeah, it's
I think Brian brings up a good point here that the number and rate at which Aradel draws the removal spells is very important. Like, because you don't want a bunch of removal spells in any round, but you want like essentially X plus 1, X being the number of golden bells in every round.
Yeah, I mean, Brian makes a good metaphor here that I do like. It's kind of like a boxer that needs to win on points for Aradel versus a power puncher that just needs a knockout. So,
yeah, except that I always talk about how it's like your life total doesn't matter, it's just number of snake attacks. So it's like a boxer that needs to win on points, just like, getting in where he can get in, and then has a gun and sees how many times he hits the big guy before it punches him. Like, because the snake, needs 1 or 2 big attacks, but it's not impossible to make, it's difficult to make the 3rd big snake. There's something not impossible to make the 2nd big snake. And you can make the 3rd one too, depending on the pressure that the opponent is applying.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, and Carl says it's really hard to start Root Armor against this Aradel, and I think the root armor is too all in. Like, I think that that's too much.
We talked about this comparison in the first 5 decisions, and it's not that you can't start root armor, but it's a really risky start against this Aradel.
On the 4 nature dice makes it really rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would need an extra nature die, I think, in the deck to be really safe running that way. So we are waiting for Kaya here to log in and set up, and we will get this party started. As you can see, we've got the overlay set up.
Man. This is gonna be so sweet.
Yeah, I am very excited for this match. I'm excited to watch Phil navigate this matchup in particular because obviously Maeoni is proving to be a real force in competitive Ashes, and we'll see how that plays out. So here we go, everybody. Shufflebus Season 5 finale getting started. We've got Kaya on the top with Maeoni and Phil on the bottom with Aradel. Phil is
he just jams his 5 cards in.
Phil is I know, he's ready to go, man. He's ready. Phil is the only undefeated player coming out of Swiss. And so we'll see. Kaya is an interesting fact. Kaya is actually on a train right now, traveling for Thanksgiving. So talk about dedication and commitment to get there. So we may have a little bit of a
hey Nick, yep, showtime
disconnect lag issues through tonight's match. We'll just see how things go. But
yeah, I'm very against giving them the timer for the finals.
Like, I know. I wish they would.
We should. Well, we can just let it run out and tell them not to do it, right? Or does it?
Well, it automatically does it.
Oh, that sucks. But we'll see. We can painstakingly undo it.
So we do see Maeoni drop the 3-eyed owl right away here. So Maeoni is going first here, top of round 1.
And this was what I expected to see. Was just jam the owl into play. And he starts Gilder.
Carl says the last finals is when the timer was added. So true, Carl. So we do see a meditate from Phil. Yeah, does lose a Nature's Wrath.
Did we had one game go to time all season this time?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. We had one game that actually went into time. So we see a double frog med and a charm power med, losing 2 Nature's Wrath and Enchanted Violinist for Phil. The Enchanted Violinist being in the discard pile is probably not a terrible place for it if you need it.
I'm glad that you like the timer fighting.
I think it definitely made people.
I still wish it was a chess clock. Because
maybe we'll get there.
Potentially, we could get to a situation where one person is monopolizing a lot of time, but I'm glad that it was positive on this season. So here we have 3-eyed from the
Aradel.
Yeah, Shrant with the commentary here. Pharaoh Angel versus Redhead Warrior both appear to enjoy reading books.
For sure. So the snake comes down. First summon from on the board here from Kaya. Just setting up that snake. Shrant, I'm going to bring you on as like a guest commentary for a feature match sometime, just for this reason alone. It would be so good. So no Golden Veil dice showing right now for Kaya. We've got no idea what the 4 books for sure are.
We also are not showing Fester here. So
I feel like I need the dodgeball gif, Christian, right now. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. We're not quite good enough for the Ocho even around here. So we do see the Gilder come down. Gonna ping the snake. That does turn on the Fester on the snake if you need it, which is nice.
Yeah, we'll see if he chooses to meditate to a goat here as his side action.
Mm-hmm.
It seems really telegraphed to do that. I mean, I am skeptical of this because he meditated round or turn 1, but didn't make a goat.
Yeah, I think he's probably on the blood chains. So this is just, does he ping his own gilder? No, you don't ping your own gilder here. It would be pretty.
If you're on blood chains, you might.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, then you're just like, you're like, hey Maeoni, I have a blood chains if you do that. But
so we do see the 1 damage go down on the silver snake here immediately.
Yeah, I think this is better.
And no med from Phil, passes it right back to Kaya here. I love Caddyshack fighting. Thank you. I'm so happy that I'm channeling inner Caddyshack.
Caddyshack 2 is god awful.
Yes. Yep.
Also, we just need more Roddy Dangerfield in the world. Is what we need.
I don't think he'd fly today, but all right. So
we don't need it.
Here's the 3-eyed owl. So will we see the water blast here? Will Aradel water blast?
So he's still not showing GV. He is showing Fate Reflection.
Right. And Fate Reflection looks pretty good into this Gilder.
Yeah, I mean it's about the same as and one Fate Reflection goes by, but he meditated to the charm power, so maybe he has the GV.
I would guess this is going to be a GV hit here.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough for the Aradel player here. This owl is really a problem for the Aradel here. With
I mean, this is what we talked about, right? Like it could have been bad. One thing to do is if once you meditate the violinist away, you can like audible to meditate a 3rd time to get to the situation where you can get the violinist back. If you're not set on spending both ceremonial dice, though that like docks you a.
So he does go ahead and water blast the owl, and we do not see a Golden Veil response here.
Yeah.
So we're definitely on a different plan if we've got the Frostfang coming down post here, which we would expect to see.
And he chokes him. Okay, so
chokes the Maeoni to stop the Frostfang command strike. That's a big choke.
This was something that like I thought was going to be really good if he was all in on the Frostfang, but it might just be good enough anyway, because when you think about it, all he did was just like GV the command strike.
Well, and what he's got is he's got an opportunity now, right? If these last two are Bear and Mindfog Owl, which we don't know for sure, but if they are, then he's in a point where he can sort of pressure the Frostfang with Bear attack and pressure the Frostfang with Mindfog attack. Because we're not looking at least not yet, a Gilder from the Maeoni player.
Right.
So
he can also just ignore the Frostfang now. The biggest thing the Frostfang does is that first command strike.
Right.
And he has the Gilder or the Aradel block to guard with it when it tries to kill the bear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl's saying in chat when they played in season 3, he also did this where he.
So there is the Gilder now.
He
from Kaya.
First 5 that choke. Right. And we knew that this was highly likely. I still think it's very likely that he has Frostfang. What would be awesome is if he like saw this coming and started Ironworker instead.
Kaya is must not have seen the choke as a first 5 card, because commenting that's unfortunate. And both Fate Reflections are now meditated away.
I think he's talking about the Fate Reflections in general, because holding up the turtle now is no longer a bluff.
So we see Gilder Frog Ping on the
pile.
On the 3-eyed here. So that does give the snake a power.
Yep, and that is also a fine way to deal with the owl from Maeoni's side. This is one issue with hitting the command strike before making the owl, is that he knows he's going to have extra dice left over since he can't pay for the command strike.
Right. So he does go ahead and start the Cobra Book, valuing that Cobra Book over
I thought he probably would. So that's going to leave him with 1 additional dice this turn, assuming his last thing is Bear Book.
Well, I'm assuming that's for a frog ping here. So whatever, if he gets the Gilder for 1, then he gets the frog ping the Gilder to kill it. I'm not sure that's actively good to get the snake pumped, but I mean, it's certainly...
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I'm interested in what's going on over here because he's no longer showing Frostfang.
Yeah,
I wonder if he has the Ironworker.
Or does he have Essence Druid still?
Well, I'm assuming one of the cards is Golden Veil. So you wouldn't be able to play Essence Druid.
So it's probably the Ironworker. He probably went ahead and started the Ironworker. That seems pretty good.
I'm trying to think what else it could be. I mean, I guess it could be... okay, so he's spending Turtle Dice. And he puts a status on Snake. All right.
Just making that Snake bigger. If your plan was something with that die, like if your plan was you spend a Horsehead to draw a card into the 3-eyed owl if you weren't going to kill the owl with your Gilder Ping.
So he's just making it big enough to attack Gilder here.
Right.
I kind of like that. Yeah, see, it pressured the guard or it killed the Gilder. And what is his last card? Did he actually start the Essence Druid? No, it has to be
Ironworker. Short 2 dice is what he's saying, but
it has to be Ironworker Golden Veil, right?
You would have to think.
Oh, Carl's saying he planned to use 2 dice, so yeah. So
we just don't know whether or not one of those Nature's Pings was actually planned from Kaya, so he maybe only short 1 die here. Right, like...
Well, we know the Turtle Dice was not planned, right?
Right.
That was probably one of the 2 dice, so... Yeah, this is...
It is the Essence Druid. It is the Essence Druid.
That's cool, man.
I guess he thought if there was an early 3-eyed he couldn't deal with it, he could let one of the books go by and recruit with Druid. Would be my guess.
He wouldn't have been able to deal with it without the choke first.
Right.
So the 2 dice for the command strike became Frog Ping and Turtle power up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this Essence Druid looking good.
Yeah, it looks extremely good here. I mean, obviously...
I'm curious what his last card is. Gilder Ping on the Snake looking kind of bad now.
It was a Hypnotize.
He just started the Hypnotize. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like the start of Hypnotize here, knowing that round 1's going to be a little bit slow anyways.
And you know that your opponent does not have redirect.
So we're looking at Bear attacking Snake. I'm sure this will turn into just a Maeoni block. Yep, absolutely does.
Yeah, so this was a first 4 with 10 dice plus Hypnotize in play.
There's the Ruby Cobra.
Cobra in play. Cobra attacks Gilder.
I would guess, yeah. So it comes back to Kaya. Will Kaya use the Essence Druid here to attack? Yeah, definitely, right? And
because the guard is down. Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, so you see the Gilder guard here, which pumps the Snake another point, makes the Bear not sticky for the next round.
Yeah, and we're just going to see the Gilder die here, I think.
Yeah, which will also pump the Snake yet again. So the Snake's still going to get there to 4 here in round 1.
Yeah, so I was 100% wrong about the Frostfang being the linchpin. And the Frostfang doesn't matter now because the Snake is big enough that unless the Snake is killed, this will always be the command strike.
So do you kill this Gilder off now?
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't?
Nope.
I think you're supposed to spend this dice. Like,
I think he's debating it. He does not.
Why would you not spend that dice there?
I don't know. It'd be a good question for him post-match. We can
he wants the Snake to remain 3 power. I don't think the difference between 3 and 4 power is very important. The difference between 2 and 3 is very big.
Phil gets to go first here, so he can sort of pressure the Maeoni guard with this Frostbite Bear.
Not with Gilder in play. Oh, I guess the Frostbite Bear.
Yeah, the Frostbite Bear can, yeah.
Like it. Right, Doctor, you could draw Wrath, but what difference does that make? Like, it would just be dead now instead of dead later. I don't understand not spending that dice there. The only thing I could possibly come up with is that he doesn't want the inheritance counter for some reason.
So if you attack with the bear into the snake,
because like if he pings this Gilder now, then it's going to make no sense.
Right. No, he pings the snake.
Okay.
I suspected, yeah, he may have been hoping for a top around ping fester possible here, but I think, I think the bear.
Yeah, right. I like the Essence Root a lot.
So we're gonna see the Water Blast get used right away here on Snake as well. That takes it to 3.
And Inquisitor does make a good point that you keep the frog hoping to draw Fester, so you only have to roll Goat.
Right.
But I think that, like, I think it's much more likely that Goat is your limiter and not Frog. I don't know.
So Kaile does roll up 2 Charm dice here and loses 2 Frostbites in the process. Not that this game's going to probably come down to Frostbite as a component.
And he Water Blasted the snake.
Mm-hmm.
So this is aggressive. You're essentially like saying you'd better have Golden Veil.
Well, it definitely looks like he's set up a Nature's Wrath now, right? Like he can 2 for 1.
That's true.
And there's no way to Golden Veil the Nature's Wrath. He had the window to do that, assuming that Inquisitor couldn't drop a Root Armor or something like that. So we do see a Gilder probably ping Cobra. Cobra looks like the biggest threat here. Just because Kaile's deck is already down to 13.
If you think your opponent is trying to Nature's Wrath, then pinging Cobra is good.
Yeah, and Kaile's already down to 13 cards, right? So, you've got a real issue here.
Right. I mean, now you essentially you get this free attack of Cobra on Snake. And then it'll do a damage to one of these Gilders.
Yeah, do you actually attack the snake if you're setting up Nature's Wrath, or do you attack the undamaged Gilder so that you can Nature's Wrath?
I would 100% attack the snake.
Okay.
Because the biggest thing that Nature's Wrath does is kill the snake. Like, killing the Gilders is fine, but you'll still have that play at some point because you have a million sources of 1 damage. If I could get the snake for free here, what's he going to do?
He doesn't have a million sources of 1, so he's going to pressure the Golden Veil with a Nature Ping here. He's actually pinging the snake, it looks like, with Nature Die. So we'll find out if this is a Golden Veil or let the snake go.
And he's thinking about it.
Definitely thinking about it, for sure. And it makes sense. It makes sense to make a thought, think through this exchange, because if you have your opponent on Nature's Wrath, then you know that the Golden Veil isn't going to do anything. You're going to waste a Golden Veil, but he does let it go. So he did.
I think this is correct. Because you want the Golden Veil to protect the Essence Druid. Now you can make another snake.
So now we do see the Cobra attack and hit a Hypnotize. Not that the second Hypnotize matters once the first one is down, but Cobra attacking this damaged Gilder to potentially kill it. We'll see if the undamaged Gilder steps in the way.
Yeah, I don't think it will. Then you're really playing into Nature's Wrath. Like, if you think your opponent has Nature's Wrath, you definitely don't block with other Gilder.
Right. So we do
so
see the Gilder die.
He puts a counter on his Essence Druid that probably doesn't matter. And
there's the new snake.
He just puts snake in play. Yeah, that's
I'm sure we'll see Druid command strike this Gilder down.
Oh, why?
Just to open the board.
To what?
Well,
there's nothing to even guard against right now. That's true fighting. He could put explosive growth on Essence Druid. That would make this counter matter for something. But I don't think that you need to command strike this Gilder. I would command strike Cobra or save it for the next Cobra.
Possibly 3-eyed owl as well. So we do see explosive growth go on the snake. Now that snake can eat the frostback bear with command strike.
And now the command strike is better on one of the bears that will be made this turn.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs a main action, so we'll see what he decides to do. Or did he make snake this turn?
He made snake. Yeah, so okay. he's passing back into Philly's corner here. Does Philly have the Bloodchains here? Because Bloodchains looks pretty good to pressure the snake. You can Bloodchains and Med into Fester if you've got.
I think it's highly likely that he's got a Golden Veil.
Yeah, but you're going to have to get him out of hand, right? Like, no doubt you're not going to just get there on sources of 1 damage to the snake over and over again.
Right. I guess I should look here, see. So, no removal spells are down from Philly yet.
So he makes a 3-eyed owl here.
Yeah, seems good.
Mm-hmm.
There are two. All the Fate Reflections are gone. No GVs are gone. Yep. So there's 3 GVs remaining.
Still 3 GVs in the deck. 2 Nature's Wraths gone for Phil and a Violinist at this point.
Second choke would be good here. Yeah, Cam. There are only 2 fates in the list, and they're both gone.
There's command strike from the snake to eat the bear.
Yep.
The Hypnotize will let the snake get in for 6 here.
No, it won't. He side action to command strike.
Well, yeah, not on this round, but the next round. We're seeing Essence Druid attack into 3-eyed owl.
Yeah,
First snake died, Matt, through a single ping source of damage into
water. It got shot by a Gilder, it got water blasted, then it got frog pinged.
Right, yep. So we do see the Gilder step in front of that snake and guard here. So you got to have an answer to the snake right now, or you're going to take 8 damage here, which is not insignificant at all as the Aradel player. You're still a long ways away from winning this game.
I mean, going in, it was probably 2 snake attacks, so it's not like a big difference. The only thing that matters is whether it's going to kill him or not.
Well, but you've got a top of round swing for Kaya, so.
Oh, that's true. Him going first the next round means that.
Yeah, so it is GG if the snake's going to get through here for 8.
Well, if it survives, like it can get through for 8 and then die, and
sure,
then it's fine.
Yeah, Schmendrix has got it right. Bloodchains are bust here.
Well, I think it's Bloodchains and then GV, and you get busted anyway.
Well, you still can make bear on the back end of this, and you might be able to pressure the snake down, but it's going to be tough.
He's got a Gilder and a Maeoni block. I don't think he can make enough power.
Billy attacks the snake with a Ruby Cobra here. We'll see if Gilder stands in front. We do get the other explosive growth out of the deck. So there's no more explosive growth left for the snake, although 1 is all that really matters, generally speaking.
If this snake does die to damage this turn somehow, then that makes a difference.
So we do force the Maeoni guard here.
That's interesting. What would be the purpose of that?
Well, my guess is that you've got one more attack from bear for 2, and you've got a ping for 3. So if you have one more source of damage somewhere, then you get to a point. A good question, Doctor. I don't know.
The 2 power on snake doesn't matter. It won't matter until it's 6 more power. It's just 2 snake attacks or 1 snake attack. So
we see a threat owl.
There's no burn spells in the deck.
Does meditate away a call to action here.
Okay, so now he is not on Golden Veil plus unblockable.
Right.
So you're okay to kill it, or to try to kill it, because then at least you can chump block it and save yourself another turn.
I think he's really trying. Kaya's trying to get this snake to be lethal in one shot, which is probably a stretch here. But it's hard to now get through on, because you made an owl here. It's hard to get through on unblockable and protect the snake from removal.
Right. So here we see the blood chains, which is going to get GV'd,
right?
But that stops him from taking damage this round, and he's probably not going to be able to kill another unit this round with his single charm dice, so the snake still isn't lethal top of next round.
Right. Bye, Cool Rage.
But we're still a really long ways from Aradel winning, so it might be enough. Just
see, Owl hit a Reclaim Soul. I don't think Reclaim Soul has big impact when you've got a snake this big already.
Right.
Kaya,
because it doesn't change the math. Like,
right.
It's 2 snake attacks. Like, you're gaining 2 life doesn't do anything, and like 10 power doesn't do anything. The only power that matters is 14.
Oh. All right, so still some dice left for Phil here. I mean, does he have an out here? I mean, what's that look like for him? I mean, he's got the ability to make bear, but then if he's on Molten Gold, he can't Molten Gold the snake.
12 because he kills and owl with it this round. Oh, because of the chump blocker? Yeah. Okay, so
there's the bear. The interesting thing is I mean, making the bear, this snake can just hunt the bear, right? I mean, the owl doesn't have guard, so your bear's not going to do anything other than potentially put
right, but damage. It doesn't kill it though.
Right.
And
he
can't run a unit into it either, I don't think. Oh no, he can't, because it'll still go to
so he makes him discard the guilt link here. This 3-eyed owl feels pretty uneventful and unimpactful.
Interesting that he chose not to chump block with the 3-eyed.
Well, he can't. He can't if Snake just straight up attacks bear.
True.
Like we're living in a world where you try to take Snake to face. Well, you can take Snake to face if you really value the bear, and you're going to suffer 10 damage on Aradel to keep your bear alive.
What could he possibly have with nature dice and charm?
The best thing I could think of is he's going to meditate one of these books away and put down a Mind Fog Owl, and he does have the ability then, kind of, not really to pressure the Mind Fog down with the Mind Fog, but he's still got a Gilder up on the other side, so it just doesn't feel like that's going to get there. I think it was really aggressive to use damage removal on the first snake.
Well, I mean, he'd just be in the same situation, only it's bigger if he didn't.
Does Maeoni have another call to action? I don't
think so.
There's one in the discard for sure.
There's only one.
So both players passed out here. That's very interesting.
I'm surprised that he didn't attack with Snake.
Going into round 3, him at the top, he's just got a free, at this point, 10 damage. Does he have Molten Gold in his deck?
No, there's no burn spells.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll try to just get 2 more things to die.
Seems likely.
I mean, he only actually, if he makes a turtle dice, he only needs 1 more thing to die, but
the real risk Phil's going to have is, does he have 2 removal spells here to slow the snake down yet again?
Is there still only 1 Golden Veil gone?
Yeah, only 1 Golden Veil, so it seems very likely that the second and third Golden Veil at this point are in hand. I mean, it's at least 1 for sure.
He's likely to have 1.
Yeah. After drawing 5 of 12 cards, he's going to have at least 1, but could have 2. I mean, it's not impossible to have 2 here. Kaia is in the tank.
I think that so if you have Golden Veil, I think you should just wait until your snake is big enough to die, like to win. So this is actually a good attack because either way, block or no block, it gets the snake too closer to being lethal.
Right. Because he only needs 12, so then it does give the snake the ability to command strike and kill something and be lethal for the next time around the bend here. So
yeah, at least 2 turns still, but because you can't command strike and hypnotize same turn, but this essentially adds to 2 power to the snake, whether it gets blocked or not.
All right, so there's the 2 power added to the snake with the block from the 3-eyed owl.
We'll see if he, I mean, if he plays removal spell here and it gets GV'd, he doesn't die. He has to then have.
So there is the command strike, getting the snake to lethal.
Right, but it's not lethal this turn.
Right.
Oh, so I guess if he GVs this, then
it's lethal.
Yeah.
So there is the nature power on the snake.
So this is Fester.
One damage to the silver snake. We'll see if he's got the GV on the Fester.
And this is a case where you need to GV the Fester and not the damage. In some cases, you can GV the damage.
And he does have the Golden Veil to save the snake. And that is it. We'll see Hypnotize Bypass for the snake, getting in for 14 for a 1-hit kill. This is what Silver Snake can do.
Yep, and this is round 3.
Yep.
So we know that the snake can be quick, and he just drew 2 Golden Veils, and that was good enough. And he's saying in chat, round 2 draw was perfect. I think 2 Veils and 1 explosive. I agree with you, Brian. The Essence Druid start was really good. It was really, really good. And they're talking about here 2 Veils and 1 explosive growth.
So we saw first 5 from Phil that included the choke, which I think was a good first 5 decision.
I agree.
You know, I think Phil played exactly the way he needed to, all in all, but I do feel like the Cobra is just not impactful enough in this matchup.
Well, so here's the thing: is like we were talking about before, the choke was good against the all-in command strike start, but Kai didn't do that. If he had started Fester, the game would have been wildly different because the Fester would have hit the Essence Druid because he didn't start GV. So this was just one of those like kind of rock, paper, scissors we were talking about, where do you like just bet on your opponent doing something weird? Because I wonder what that first round looks like with the Essence Druid dead and what the second round looks like with the Essence Druid dead. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult into double GV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with double GV, it takes a lot of self-control to not GV the first snake death. And I think that's just good play for Kaia.
So first off, I want to say congratulations to Kaia. First time Shufflebus champion. Very well played season for Kaia, taking 1 loss throughout the whole season to Bill, who was a top 4 competitor. Another fantastic season to Phil. Not yet quite there in getting his championship, but made it all the way to the finals undefeated this season with this Aradel list. So make no mistake about it, this Aradel list is real, and it's a It's a handful for many, many decks in the meta. But Snake plays on a different axis, and it can be very, very difficult to counter Snakes if you don't have all the right tools. And to be fair, what we've seen is that hard removal for Snake is not necessarily enough, and you have to have some other plans.
It's definitely not enough when he draws 2 Golden Veils. Yeah, I mean, Kaile played great. He drew great. I think he was favored in the matchup, so everything went according to plan. Obviously, Philly played great all season, and I think he didn't make any mistakes here. He just kind of like lost the mind game of choke versus fester against the mind game of like GV or not on the other side. But I'm not even sure that would have been enough.
Do we see illusion stock start to rise if Snake continues to dominate? Because one of the ways you can answer the Golden Veil is by spending an illusion die into it.
Well, this tournament, like we talked about, was devoid of Herald, and this match was devoid of redirect. Both of which we've seen a lot of those cards in other seasons. You know, I think Maeoni's good, and I think she always will be good, but I don't think she's unbeatable.
No, I don't think she's unbeatable at all. I'm not saying that, but when we talk about the axis that Snake has to play on and the cards you have to sort of play into to protect from the Snake, like it's difficult, right? Because redirect is just an average to okay card in many
redirect would not have been good in this game,
right?
The Maeoni was too far ahead,
right?
Redirect is good in the games where you're kind of like keeping pace by attacking faces your guys.
Well, and Schmidrix is saying it maybe a little better than I am, but when you talk about it just from a perspective of how to deal with it, like putting redirects in your deck, and then you just play a bunch of 2 and 1 life one attack units like Cobras and Bears and maybe Mindfog Owls or whatever. Like redirect doesn't feel great for 1 die to redirect 2 damage unless it's the last 2 you're going to take. So it's interesting to see that, but I do wonder how much value. And I'm not on the par with these 2/1s yet. Like I still believe there's too much nature in the field to be able to play 2/1s adequately. So I'm saying like best shots are potentially Magic Siphon, best shots are Illusion Dice Power, and that's about it, right? Because how else are you going to stop the Hypnotize play from the Snake, right? You can't. So you know the Snake is going to get big. You know the Snake is going to do its thing.
So this is, I mean, essentially you're asking what the meta call is going into season 6, because
just not
I wouldn't make those kind
call,
of
but
plays. Well, that's exactly what it is, because like look at Philly's deck. Philly's deck was a 4-book Aradel that essentially like had dropped all the cards we just talked about being good against Snake, because going into this season, I assume Snake was not on the menu of decks that was like high on his priority list to beat.
Sure.
So sure, like those things you're talking about, like are good against Golden Veil, I guess. But you got to realize that like when you're making those decisions, are you making those decisions because Snake won this finals?
No,
or are you making those decisions because you think there's going to be like 8 giant threat decks and it doesn't have to be Snake, just like 8 decks in the field next season that have a bunch of Golden Veils, and you're also playing a bunch of removals, so the Golden Veils are good against you.
Well, I think it's hard to deny after 3 seasons, right? You definitely can't deny any longer after 3 seasons and 3 wins for Maeoni. I mean, she's the only Phoenixborn that's even come close to multiple wins at this point. We haven't had multiple wins in any other Phoenixborn up to this point in 5 seasons. And she's won 60% of Shufflebuses. So you kind of have to start going...
Right, she's very powerful. But so knowing the outcome of this season, if I knew all the decks in the field and the outcome of the season, and I was building a deck to go into the season, I would not build my deck to beat Maeoni. Because Maeoni was, 2% of the field?
Sure, but if you want to win, you're going to have to assume that she's going to be in the top tables. I think that's a fallacy to say, well, I'm going to try to just get through the field and then lose in the top.
Right, but like...
So Golden Veil is currently this season, or up through this season, has been played in 18.2% of decks. So 1 in 5 decks, and has a strong match win percentage at 60, almost 61%.
Very good.
Currently has been in top 8s it's played 18 top matches now and has a 72% win rate in top matches. So we know Golden Veil's a card, right? We all know that's a card. We all know it's really good, and it's been in 3 winning decks. Well, that's also the 3 snake decks. No really reason to like argue that point too much, right?
And obviously the snake deck is a deck where it's very, very good. The only deck probably ever that Golden Veil is better in is Hydra combo, which got chained.
Sure. So
like those are the kind of like it's in these decks where you have one core threat that's going to win the game and you need to protect it. Like we know what Golden Veil does.
Right. My point is that so if you know these things and these things are given and you know that there's a high probability that your top 8 matchup is going to have, or your top 4 matchup or your finals matchup is going to have a snake, shouldn't you be considering tech that would allow you the best opportunity to win the tournament?
Like only if your thought process is, okay, I'm 100% in top 8. I don't need to worry about Swiss. Yes, I agree with you.
I just think it looks...
If I'm worried about making top 8, I would not put Maeoni in my decks to be.
Sure. But I think it's a given, right? Like, it's a given that if you're building a deck, you should be trying to build your best deck to give you the best chance at making a top 8, but also knowing how you're going to play the decks that are going to show up in top 8s. And you can't ignore a deck that's going to show up in top 8s consistently. And that's, we're now seeing, is going to be... decks like Maeoni are going to be that possibility, right? Like it's
right.
maybe. Maybe you get lucky and you end up in a season where Maeoni doesn't make a top 8 because it's not played, or maybe a player gets bad matchups or any number of things. But
I would not make the play to hamstring myself in Swiss if I didn't think Maeoni was going to be a big part of the field. And I mean that not to say anything about specific.
But isn't that conceding the tournament at that point?
No, I think top 8 in the tournament is very, very good.
I agree with that statement, but I think
so. Like,
yeah, Schmendrix, I would say this: if the pool of players was larger and we had more players that were spikes, I don't think we have very many spikes in this community. But if we had more players that were spikes, there would be a larger field of people registering Maeoni, and it may change.
And if that happens, then I would worry about Maeoni. Like, yeah, I agree. I'm not saying very powerful. I think the deck is very good.
I'm not saying that we should get 8 Heralds again next season. I'm not saying that. So, 9 is not the lower end, Cam, just to be fair. Like, I don't care if it was only an 18-person tournament in season 1. The players that made tops in season 1 are many of the same players we saw playing even in this point, having some difficulties getting to top 8. So here's what I'll say. Maeoni was piloted to an AIL championship in the start of the year. She has won 3 Shufflebuses now, and I think you have to respect that. Yeah, and Matt makes a good point here. Maeoni seems like a good deck against an unknown field. She has a strong plan A, and the allies can fight. I think that's my biggest takeaway from now 5 seasons of Shufflebus is that you're going to have a plan for her. You can't just ignore her and think you're going to do well in a tournament. Maybe you won't pair up with her in Swiss, but you're going to pair up with her eventually if you do get to there.
Right. So again, like, if there are a lot of Maeonis, assuming that and Matt's point is very different, where I agree with that 100%. And I've been saying that for Shufflebusters for a long time. Like, going into an unknown field, the proactive plans are better because you're more on your plan. It's more stable. Less can go wrong. And obviously, like, the Maeoni plan we saw this game, she just like did her thing and Philly did his best to deal with it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the other way around. So yeah, I agree with that. As far as like, I still think, like, quote, teching against the Maeoni, again, I would advise you to tech against the decks that you think you want to beat. And when it's 1 out of 44 as opposed to 8 out of 44 or whatever, like, you're much more likely to get knocked out of top 8, not by Maeoni, than by something else. So if you want to play Maeoni, more power to you. I think she's very powerful. I think the deck is good. But like, you know, it's also kind of a different argument than, like, do we need to start playing Illusion Power or Magic Siphon to beat Redirect? Am I off the call here?
Well, that's my biggest question. I mean, like,
because
will we see? I mean, it's possible that Maeoni pivots, right? If we see a lot of tech against her, then Maeoni pivots into something that helps her fight around the things that are bad for her. Because there's not very many things that are bad for her. They're just not, right? There's very few things, honestly, that are bad for her. So I guess my point in this is, I mean, no doubt about it. I think we have legitimately can legitimately call out our first S tier deck in Ashes, right? I mean, I think the results prove themselves.
Well,
I don't care whether she was played by a large portion of the field or not.
This season,
I lost Neil here. I can't hear him. He can probably hear me. It sounds like, but I can't hear him. It's on me, Neil. 1 second.
Okay.
Because he went robo on me.
Well, you let me know when I'm back.
Yeah.
Hello? Am I here?
Okay, now I have you back. Sorry. So no,
okay.
I
am I here? So I think Maeoni's good. I would not tell you not to play her. She's definitely a lot higher on my list than she was after season 1. Where I was just saying, like, she's powerful, but I think very beatable. I think she's, especially the printing of Fate Reflection, I think makes a big difference in the deck, because again, it's just more things to protect the snake. But in general, like saying she's the first S tier, I would have called 4-book S tier 2 seasons ago. So just because it doesn't win first place doesn't mean it doesn't have an insane win percentage. I'm not like is very powerful.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about Maeoni for a second. Here's out of 154 decks, she's been registered 6 times. So she doesn't take the cake on.
That's right. Popularity,
but she has won 16 out of 11. She's got a 59% win rate in Swiss. The only Phoenix-born that has higher win rates in Swiss are Rymea and Saria, who were played 1 season by Matt and 1 season by Stefanos, right? And
Xander.
And Xander, maybe? Yeah, Xander's got a higher win rate here at, number of decks registered plus win rate here. And then playoff wins for Xander is 2 and 3. So Xander seems to navigate the Swiss field very well, but when he gets to the top tables, seems to have an issue converting into, into a more higher spot. Maeoni, on the other hand, is 6-0 in top cuts. She's got 100% win rate.
She's won the 3 tournaments that she made top 8 in.
Right, absolutely. So when we look at Odette...
Oh, and Odette, he said.
Odette's got a 62.5% win rate and has gone 2-3. So Odette and Xander have very similar playoff win rates through... and I'm sure this is just through Season 4 because this data would not include Season 5 yet because we just finished it. But... she'll end up here. She'll end up at 9-0 and with 3 wins instead of 2. Xander won't add much here in the playoff victory components for this season. No Odette won't add much in here either because of that. So Brian said going Gilder plus body inversion if folks want an anti-snake combo or String Mage plus Root Armor. I'm interested in the String Mage Root Armor combo. Brian, why is that good? Because it feels like you're going to work really hard to put 4 damage or more from String Mage on the snake, right? Like it's like you're going all in on like trying to get there, and it doesn't feel like you're going to get there. It feels really slow to me. You don't kill it. You take the status tokens off. I see. Yeah, I see. I mean, can you do that adequately? I mean, with explosive growth,
like side action every round, every side action you use almost essentially is suck off a counter.
So maybe it's String Mage because String Mage hasn't seen a lot of play. I see what you're saying. I hadn't considered just the removal of the status token component. I was thinking of the wound moving. Yeah, I can see that as being a possible answer there. And the Root Armor is just to keep it from getting blown up by other.
To keep it getting not dead by
anything else.
Strike.
Anything besides the 5 attack units like Brawler or.
You say Brawler. I played against this deck specifically in a test match prior to the season, and I beat it with Brawler.
Yeah, I think Brawler is a
which was
potential.
which was funny because the brawler like just because it has 4 power, it can immediately attack Snake, and because essentially all of the Snake stuff is damage based, they can't really kill it very effectively.
Yeah, it takes time and effort, right? Unless they're, I mean, but yeah, I think look this is kind of my point. But Brawler becomes a liability in any other matchup, right? Like end of the day. I mean, I tech the
Right.
bot.
I mean, that's the same thing. Like, and it was a super close game. And I think that like in an open, that was in closed deck testing, and maybe in an open list, Kaile sees the brawler and like is able to deal with it. But yeah, you essentially can't command strike brawler, or it untaps and heals itself, because it's usually for like 3, and that's like kind of the magic number, right? It's easy to put a couple of your own counters on it.
Well, it's going to have 2 on it for sure if it attacks and kills something, and it gets exhausted.
Yeah, maybe. Truman says, I once had someone loudly yell at me in the other server that String Mage was the best card in Ashes, and all the top players were ignoring it, were just dumb. Sometimes I wonder if that player grew up to be JK.
Chad asked for no exhaust on Hypno. Did any Noah players play Kaya this season? I'm curious.
None of the like
Chaos Theory or Skak. I don't think either one of those players played.
None of the Noahs was really like a shadow target deck. I mean, I guess they could do it.
I know Skak talked a lot about how he was using shadow target this season, so I know he was using it. I don't know how that plays into the general strategy of the deck. Yeah, I don't think you want to know what exhaust
Snakebook.
I don't think you want to do that though, Carl. Right, as long as they're playing Essence Druid, because that's, I mean, you just watch them med the Snakebook away and make a snake.
Well, it's good. Like, it still eats some stuff to do that. Like, it's still good to do that, and it's less good if you're going first, because they can just make it top of round 2, and then you have to kill it for it to matter.
Snakebook is protected from Spellguard, yeah, but Spellguard doesn't protect it from Shadow Target.
Yeah,
Spellguard's Shadow Target's not a spell. No one seal, but I don't think you can seal it, right? Because it's got Spellguard. You can't seal the snake. You can seal the Hypnotize.
Yeah,
Transfer.
I don't know. We will see. I think the big takeaway from this, we're not going to see until springtime, when we have the next set of decks.
Well,
sure. We will see either how many people have adopted Snake and want to play it, or how many people have thought that Snake is going to be a big deal and tried to take against it.
Well, okay, so I told you we had some news at the top of the show, and I've saved it all the way through this. Coming in the next few days, there will be a sign-up for AIL, and AIL is going to get started here in a couple of weeks. It is going to be an official Shufflebus tournament. It's going to start the week of December 6th. And it will be a qualifier event for the 2022 Shufflebus Invitational. So, AIL and Shufflebus are partnering for 2022. And it will be happening. I'm super excited about this partnership. Carl and Adam and Brian and I have been furiously working on the back end to make this all work, and we're super excited to be part of it. We will open up some feature coverage. I'm hoping that Plaid Hat and I can get together and start developing a actual prize support structure. I'm willing to pay for it, Plaid Hat. So if Nick, if you're still here, know that I'm not asking for free stuff. I'm just I want to see what that would look like and what we're talking about in costs, and before we make it official. So just know that we're working on that. So there will be Shufflebus action in December. Now, obviously, that's not going to change our stream schedule. So for everybody that has been wondering, after when AIL gets started, there's going to be a number of weeks of AIL where we're not going to stream it. So that's open for the community to stream whatever they want to stream. Go for it. Share your games if you want to record them and share them to YouTube and post them in there. Should have shot your shot. Yeah, Nick has given me so much free stuff, German. I can't complain at all. I really can't. I mean, he sent me extra dice. I mean, he's done all kinds of stuff. Plaid Hat has been awesome up to this point. So, I can't say anything more than that on that. I just I'm willing to try to build some exclusive stuff for Shufflebus participants. I'm working on some other stuff that's digital only, so bear with us as if that can come together, it'll be really awesome. I've got a super cool plan for that, and I can't wait to share that all with you if we can make it a reality. So, just hang tight, and we'll see what we can come together with on Plaid Hat and come together with on the community and make it all happen. So, I'm constantly working, and Neil's constantly working to innovate on this stuff and make our tournaments even better and better. And Shufflebus is no exception to that at all. So thanks, Schmendrix. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm hoping to do more stuff like that in the future. That's all I can say for now. But yeah, so know that there's not going to be a ton of coverage on the front end of AIL right now. So we're really excited about this partnership and what it means for next year in terms of Schmendrix, you're sniffing the right direction of where I'm headed. Just a heads up.
Now you're just giving stuff away.
I know, but I can't promise it because obviously I am not the implementer. So I am begging and pleading with the people that are involved to make this a reality. Brian, you got some 1.0 alt arts? If they're if they're legitimately can be played in Reborn, I mean, cool. That'd be super awesome, man. That's more than generous. So yeah, if you've got that kind of thing, let me know. I'm happy to pay to have them shipped here or whatever, so that I've got them for giveaways in future tournaments. I do have an official. I've got a few alt arts myself from 1.0, but they're not legal, and that's why I've not put them out there. Because I want people to be able to take advantage of the prizes that we have in their physical games. So, Super Gilder, if you want to smash people, if you want to cheat, is what you're saying. That's awesome. So just know that there's going to be lots of stuff to talk about here as we get through. No, man, you keep that 1.0 Jericho. Man, at one point, like when we gave that away, that was like a $90 prize. Like it's obviously come down in price since then, but the 1.0 Jericho cards were really expensive back then.
That deck is sweet.
Yeah. So
it has like a bunch of my favorite cards in it from 1.0.
So anyways, we'll talk more about that as the seasons progress. So just remember, January 8th is the Invitational. All of the Shufflebus Season 5 competitors that made top 8, if you haven't received your invite, you will be receiving it shortly, so just bear with. But I will be sent, and in there will be the registration link for you to sign up for the Invitational and get into the bracket and do all that stuff. We will be launching that on January 8th. And then, obviously, as we talked about, AIL is going to be starting the week of the 6th of December. And then, on top of all of that, Shufflebus Season 6, if you want to call it that, we're going to call it the Shufflebus Open Invitational. Or Qualifier, not Invitational, excuse me. Shufflebus Winter Qualifier will start on January 10th, the week of January 10th. So we'll have our kickoff, decklist kickoff stream on the 11th of January. So you can mark all your calendars on that. I will also have a complete 2022 calendar going up in December. That will go on our website with all of the dates of all of the events that are being planned. We may add some still in if things can come together. So just know that there are going to be a lot of tournaments next year, and Shufflebus is excited to be part of it and part of the community. And I'm just thankful that Carl and company decided to reach out to us.
I hope that everybody wants to play in more stuff, because we're kind of like stretching out the rounds on the base Shufflebus tournaments to allow space for stuff like AIL,
right,
and Carousel, and what's the new thing, triple threat.
Yep.
And I know like everybody doesn't have time for a million games of Ashes, but even if it shrinks some of the tournaments smaller, we're gonna have so much more going on that I hope everybody's excited.
Yeah. I think it'll only bolster the community's ability to play in whatever way they want to play. So AIL will remain closed deckless, which is something I know that many people are clamoring for, is to get back into those closed deck lists, and I can't wait to see what comes out of those closed deck list tournaments in terms of just interesting and cool first fives. And then obviously I do love open deck lists for the strategic depth that comes from knowing what your opponent's chess pieces are and how do you play around them. So
Schmendrick asks about new previews. I haven't heard anything.
I don't have anything on that yet, Schmendrick. I'm guessing Plathat's going to keep that pretty close to the vest until they're ready to announce previews. I've always asked Nick if he would let us spoil a card on the show some night. I mean, obviously he gave us some early Reborn spoilers in an interview. We should probably have Nick back on sometime soon. We should probably do like a year in review.
How did Nick do it this season?
I know most of
the Oryx were 3-3.
I think he's also in that 3-3 club. He might be still on to be able to talk about it here.
Carl says 3-3. Yeah.
Yep.
We had a bunch of Oryx. They all went 3-3.
Yeah. We had a couple go. I think, did Leonard go 4-2?
Yeah, maybe.
Who was the best Oric this season?
I think it was Leonard.
No, Leonard went 3-3 as well. I think they all ended up 3-3. That's interesting. Not a single Oric navigated out of that 3-3 realm.
Oh, Leonard's there at 2-4 actually.
2-4. Okay. Yep. I see him now.
So they weren't all 3-3, but nobody better than 3-3.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that is going to conclude our coverage of Shufflebus Season 5. I'm going to try in the coming weeks where we've got some downtime. German wants us to wait. What are we waiting on, German? Besides the fact that you're super awesome and we'll wait for you, but
I'm quitting.
Can I recap the prize giveaway? Sure, I'm happy to do that. So I'll just start at the top here.
Yeah, just get out your list. Don't try to open that website again.
Yeah, I'm not going to. That website's busted. DG, D Gold Denver, winning a dice tray. Because you were the runner-up to the community vote. That's how cool you are, German.
Yeah.
Doctar won the Rin Alt Art. Fighting Walloon won the Ashes playmat. JK007 wins the community dice. Josh won... What did Josh win? I wrote Josh. That's not right.
Josh won something.
Yeah, it's...
I don't know. Whatever's left over.
It's the other tray. The other tray.
Okay.
Dice tray. Let me put that in there. Josh won the dice tray. And then we've got Squaricle winning a translucent dice set. We've got Waterbender winning the Miss Spirit Alt Arts. And that was all of the giveaways. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys will be hearing from us personally following the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yep. I am back next Wednesday. So you should suspect some emails / DMs from me by Wednesday of next week. So, just know that I will get on that right away and get those shipped out right away so that you get them as quickly as possible. So I don't have any desire to hold on to these. They're taking up space in my office. they gots to go. But yes, I just want to thank everybody for participating, for being on feature matches. It's
right. We love to do the coverage, so if you make time, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give an honorary mention to Inquisitor for consistently dragging his opponents on cam with him week in and week out.
We watched that Leo deck a lot.
We did, but he always brought somebody else with him, so I appreciate that. You're just gonna say wait and then bounce. German, I'll only wait so long. there's a certain amount of time that I'll wait, and then it's gonna be like we're out.
This is gonna be like a Boy Who Cried Wolf kind of thing.
Yeah, and eventually we just won't respond,
and then we're never gonna trust you again.
And then German will start playing Noah, and we'll realize, oh well, he actually is the boy who cries wolf. See what I did there? All right, so
unfortunately,
yes, you're right. It's Lay's weird for a midweek holiday like that. Canada tosses it on a Monday for a long weekend. So we do make it a long weekend by just giving us the quasi Black Friday holiday. Like, it's so German, I make bad jokes all the time, dude. Have you not watched this stream? Like,
He says it's just the worst one.
oh, okay. Well, that may be true.
I don't know if that's true, but I can't think of one right now.
I'll live up to a worse one at some point. There's no doubt about it. So, my kids just generally roll their eyes at me. I just suspect that all of our audience rolls their eyes at me.
Right. I was going to say, I don't think it's just your kids.
No, it's not.
Just
it's okay.
Every person you've ever met.
So we do get a long holiday cam. It's just our holiday goes from essentially Wednesday through Monday. But
I took this whole week off. I'm off Monday to Monday.
Well, to be fair, I'm off after tomorrow.
Right, it sounds like you have a bunch of days off too. So
Monday and Tuesday of next week, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
working.
we should. Somebody that's here while we have 15 people on, who has to come do something stupid with me a week from today on the stream?
Yeah,
because Jesse's going to be gone.
Neil's got a solo stream.
I don't know what we're going to do, but something.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys figure it out. No, we're still going to go on hiatus, German. So
yeah, for
the holiday break, we'll still take our holiday break. So AIL won't get as much coverage here launching in December for the early parts of it. But
we won't have scheduled ones anyway. Maybe we'll like do some surprise ones that people have a convenient time. But
yeah, the idea is for us to take a little bit of time off and spend that time with our family and decompress a little bit and get ready for a start of a year that's going to be a whirlwind for sure, with the Invitational being on the 8th and then kicking off the qualifier 3 days later. It's a lot of work in a very short period of time. So we're just loading up. We're reloading the gun for that. Yeah, so we'll pick it up because I think at the end of the day, AIL will probably.
We don't know how long the AIL will go for, even, right? Like
it's probably, and I don't know how much time like will they take. And this is up to Carl and company because they're going to still administer the AIL,
right,
which I appreciate. So they may choose to take the I think last year that during the AIL they took the Christmas week and New Year's week and made it just one round in those 2 weeks because of the holidays. So it's very possible they'll do that again this year. I'm not going to speak for them. I'm just saying that's what they did last year. Of course, Creek Dog, thanks for participating this season. It was awesome to have you join us. And it's this is why we do it. It's for you all. So at the end of the day, like as long as you're all having fun, we're going to keep going. That's why we do it. That's why I enjoy it. But yeah. So let's wrap it up. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving and has a safe weekend and gets to enjoy some decompression time and do all those things. For you Canadians, then go back to work, okay?
Go back to work, he says. All right.
But yeah, we'll see y'all later, all right? Good night. Take care. Bye.